When I say it's dead motherfucking simple, I mean it's dead motherfucking simple. And I can't wait to read your fucking weekly report, the fucking excuses you make. There's no reason that everybody in his class couldn't be where he is. But they're not. They got a lot of reasons, believe me. But they normally, the excuses fall into three lump sum categories. You remember how I said private equity, a third go bankrupt, a third break even, and a third make money, and then some small percentage of that third makes big money. Remember? Well, the excuses fall into roughly three categories. Okay? The first is family. Across the board. And what do I tell you to do?
No family.
Okay. No, I don't mean get rid of them, but I mean disassociate yourself. Okay. The second group of excuses are that they go off and they think they should become numerate, and they take a course or they read a book or do something online about learning more about M&A. You don't need it, but anyway, that's their further procrastination. They think they should know something about M&A, mergers and acquisitions. Okay. And the third is that they just merely didn't realize what it entailed, and they're not interested in making any more effort than they had to where they got in life so far, and so they just fade away. I mean, they just don't do anything. And then some of the kids, and again, you're all kids, because I'm old enough to be your father or grandfather. They just get after it, and they just do it. And it's like the guy that was made €1 million and at the Polish university, and none of the other students asked him how he made €1 million. Because if he told them, Jan, you're probably listening, well, fuck, well, then that's going to put more pressure on me. And I think when Jan did it, he was 20. €1 million is no big fucking deal, but for a 20-year-old university student, it's a pretty big fucking deal. I mean, when you decide that this is it, life or death, no plan B, no backup, put your back against the wall and just get it done. Again, it's not easy, but it's the only game in town that you don't need any money. That's legal. You're not robbing banks or shit, doing that kind of stuff, or you're not cheating people with subscription plans and affiliate marketing and horse shit like that. It's the only game in town. I mean, that has proven results, and it now has proven results for 26 years without me, and just regular kids like himself. And we have, a couple of kids that are relatively the same age as he is now. And it's no different. We've had kids that had jobs full-time at the same age. Going to school isn't a full-time job, because I think university, or I know university is not that hard, but it's simple. We're going to see, when do we see Simon the Bell? Okay. Now, which is just the opposite. This is, and I'll give you the prep to him later. But he's an older guy. Well, older. He's 35. He's not old, but he's 35. Compared to this, he's old, right? 20 guy. This kid, 20, thinks that, if you're 30, you're Methuselah. As I can't remember when I was 20 years. I think I was too drunk most of the time. I don't remember. It was just a fog. My 20th birthday was just a fog. Any questions about the young man or anything else before we move forward? We had some more interesting comments on YouTube about the pugilism. boxing, they're still commenting about it. Okay, next. To dress for success. What's that one? What was that one? Oh, no. Oh, we saw that one. Yeah. Now, I told you, by the way, this was my first chairman, Bob O. Anderson of my company back in the early 80s, the former Secretary of the Treasurer for Eisenhower, I think he was. And he was the person that I built the Dream Team. And I had forgotten this, but our offices were in 30 Rockefeller Plaza. I used his offices as my offices for the first Great Western offices, were 30 Rock. And he was, a former secretary on the cabinet of the United States president. And then he ultimately dropped out. His wife got sick. I bought him out. And so then I built another Dream Team, not around him because he was gone. But I mean, the dress for success that we were talking about, these guys all look alike. They dress alike. Unless you're in Afghanistan or India or someplace where they're wearing the natural clothes, they all dress like businessmen, more or less like you're dressed now. And you'll learn Churchill himself, bow ties are in or out, it's okay. Another one of my mentees, and of course Klaus, and of course then there's this guy, okay. Now, you're not supposed to dress like a clown, okay? And he's wearing a suit, yes. And when you're in certain parts of the country during the summer, they do wear white linen suits, yes. So he expanded on that into where he rented that station, and he had his picture taken there at the station. I don't know where that is. I think it's someplace in Eastern Europe. But the operative is, remember, you only have one time to make a first impression. Now, for the gals know how to dress business-like. I don't have to teach them, okay? Although we have had some women, young women, that wear skirts up to here and low cut. Now, you get a lot of appointments dressed like that. But they're not the right kind of appointments to build a dream team. If you're looking for a husband, maybe they're the right kind. But it's really important how you dress and how you talk. And again, you don't have to know anything really about the industry you're in. And these are just some of the houses, my house. And you heard him say he went to the Rolls-Royce dealer. He went to the Ritz. For those of you that have never been to the Ritz in London, they have dress standards. You can't just walk in willy-nilly, And the bar that he was in is a bar Sally and I frequent quite often. When we're staying in London, we normally almost always stay at the Ritz and have for many years. And it's a place where movers and shakers stay, okay? The Barclay brothers own the Ritz, and the Barclay brothers allowed Maggie Thatcher to live there until she died, amongst other people. And it's a very nice place. It's a place to go for high tea. They have high tea there. And it's a place. They have a wonderful New Year's Eve festivity, extremely expensive, but it's a place that you don't have to explain about. That's for sure. You don't have to explain about. Oh, I know that. I'm never around. Have no more calm. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about your dream team. You've heard Josh pick a chairman. You've heard Josh pick or talk to a motivated seller. You've heard Josh talk to a bank. Okay. But now we're going to go through every member of the dream team, one by one. So there's no confusion. Okay. I tell YouTube when they say, where do I start? We produced a new product about 1.5 years ago called QLA for Dummies. That QLA for Dummies is if you're not here. Okay. So, but the first thing you do is you figure out what industry. And let's just pick healthcare because it's the easiest. And you're going to pick healthcare. And let's just say that you decide you're going to do assisted living because that's the easiest within healthcare. Actually, it's not the easiest, but it's where they have, in this country, they have like 55,000 assisted living units in the country, 55,000 of them. So it's not like you have trouble finding one. They've got like 175,000 in America. So assisted living there's no way that you can't find one. Absolute, okay? And remember, there's different levels. There's from the country club, where they've got golf courses and tennis courts, etc., down to the smaller. And so we're going to pick a board that's commensurate with that idea or that target. And remember, your boards, your dream teams, and you don't call them dream team when you're talking to them. We call them dream team amongst us. And remember, there's intergalactic knowledge, there's international knowledge, and then there's our local knowledge. So some of the words that we use, like anchor, chairman, and dream team, is nomenclature that we use amongst ourselves, not amongst the people that we're trying to recruit. So use the templates on LinkedIn. Don't be putting down dream team, anchor, chairman. Use the words that are there. So what kind of person would be a natural man or woman to be chairman of a healthcare dream team? They fall into two categories. They're either generalists. I'm a generalist, okay? I'm a transaction junkie. I get off on doing deals. So they're either a generalist, a man or a woman, that just has done a lot of deals, or somebody specific to that industry. Specific. Either he was the Undersecretary of Health and Education in the United States. He was the retired head of the medical school at University of Texas. He's a former professor of note. He's an oncologist. He's something that has to do with, and he's done deals. Your chairman isn't just a name on a note paper. The chairman, or the chairperson, as they say now, or the chairwoman, has to have done transactions. Has to. So either as a generalist, just junkie transactions, because I've been in a lot of different industries, or specific to healthcare. Okay. Now you find these individuals, as I believe Peter said, he found his chairman in 2 minutes on LinkedIn. He responded to him in 2 minutes. LinkedIn is the easiest methodology to find board members. And you'll send out responses. In the beginning, you send out maybe 5 a day. Some of the kids are sending out 100, 150 a day. But I would rather you send out 3 or 4, 5, than 6, 7, 8, than 9, 10, 11. So if you're going to make any mistakes, you don't fuck up 200. You fuck up 2 or 3 or 4. And there's templates. Use the templates. Some templates work better in different industries. Free Founders Equity works in all of them. Free Founders Equity. Now, occasionally you'll get a response from somebody on LinkedIn that doesn't know what Founders Equity. They understand the free. Founders Equity, okay? And they're not yanking your chain whip. They email, I understand the free part, but Founders Equity, and that is shares that are distributed to the people that start the business, start the company, the founders of the company, and they don't have to pay for their stock. Okay? Now, once you have made contact with this chairperson, and I like doing chairman first, although I told you there's the other way the kids do it. They interview 8 or 9 or 10. They get 8 or 9 or 10 in their funnel, and they pick, and they're all healthcare related, and then they pick the best one that they think will be their chairman. That normally is the best one they have the most chemistry with, or perhaps you went to the same university, or perhaps you live in the same part of the world. I like your chairperson on your first deal to be where you are, generally speaking. If you're in southern England, they're in southern England. If you're in Scotland, they're in Scotland. If you're in Germany, you want them there. It's not always that way. Sometimes they're different places. Sometimes you will be able to get a world-class guy that isn't near you. But then you're going to be traveling to see him. So remember that. If you pick somebody that's your chairman that's not in your geographic location, Josh Kim moved across the country. He moved from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco to be closer to his first chairman. He moved. And as it turned out, when he got rid of that chairman, he had moved for nothing. But anyway, but he went with his 15-speed bike. Now, he didn't ride his bike across the country, I don't believe. But okay, so now you're going to get some momentum going because you're going to get volume of emails responding to you. I like meeting them in person. Okay, now because of the electronic age, a lot of kids, I don't, but a lot of kids add their board members electronically, by Zoom call, by Skype. The chairman is the most important person on your board. If you're going to meet anybody in person, that's the person you meet. That's the person you meet. Excuse me. Okay, so you're going to meet him in person, her. And even though I don't say her, I mean, it's quite often as a woman. I'm just getting used to, at age 73, saying women. But normally I said men for 40 years. Could very well be a woman. One of my mentees has the former head of the University of Georgia School of Medicine, a female medical doctor, as his chairman, a chairperson. So it can be gals. It can be gals. So you want to meet this person. The reason I like you to meet the chairman early on is because you'll set the tone of how to act, because he's the most important. So you're going to set the tone of how you interface and react or act accordingly to all the other board members. So on the one hand, I know why the kids interview a bunch at once, because they don't want to step on their dick. They want the benefit of talking to a bunch of people and then their rationales, and then they pick the best person as a chairperson. But quite frankly, you don't know how to pick the best person. And when you write to me in your weekly reports, I do not pick your chairman. Don't ask me, what do you think of his resume? Don't ask me, what do you think of his CV? Don't ask me to look at his link, because I won't. Because then if I pick the wrong chairman, it just gives you another excuse why you failed. The system didn't work. Peña picked the wrong chairman for me. Because you're trying to shove out the responsibility and not take responsibility for your own actions. I won't do that. So you're going to pick them. So don't send me a bunch of links to people that you're considering to be your chairperson, because I won't look at them. And then I normally say, at the end of the day, go with your gut. Don't go with the words written on the paper. And that you can only do that when you meet them. You can't go with your gut with a text. You can't go, well, I don't think you do. Maybe the kids do. You can't go with your gut on a Skype or a Zoom call, because it's not the same as being in the same room. All of you have seen me on YouTube before you got here. I'm not the same in person. I'm different. The same can be said for when you're picking the chairman. And I'm belaboring this because it's really important. It's really important. And then even after you've done acquisitions, your chairman may wind up not being the right person, and you may have to wind up asking them to leave or forcing them to leave. Okay, so now you've gone to meet this guy. You ask for his email address, whoever it is, he or she or it, and you're in Sheffield and he's in London. You go down to see him. Or he's in Boston and you in New York, wherever you go to see him. Okay. Now, because I don't want you spending a bunch of money on traveling, because you don't have a bunch of money, you be judicious. So when you're going to go see the chairman, it's going to be because you're also going to be interviewing other potential board members. Not for chair, but for perhaps a CEO, CFO, industry expert. So you're seeing them in a group. Now, the individual that you pick for chairman, the words that you want out of his mouth, yes, I've read your executive summary, and I also don't approve your executive summaries. I've read your executive summary. I'm very honored. You have bodacious goals, and if I can add value subject to conflicts, I'm interested. Those are the words you want out of his fucking lips. If I can add value subject to conflicts, I'm interested. Not how much money, not how much free founders equity, not are you going to pay my expenses. If any of those words come out, next. Adios, motherfucker. You know, those kind words, adios, we'll talk to you later, YouTube.